All right, guys, welcome back. Another episode of A Few Points from Perfect. We got Farmer Grayce and a bonus.
And a bonus. We wasn't expecting that, was we?
Well, they already know they have the bonus. See what I told you before we started?
Yep.
I said, all right, I've already screwed this up, so I'm going to let the cat out of the bag. We're going to film Grace's first, and then we're going to film his, but you guys already seen his, so they already know that.
Yeah.
See? So now if I screw up later, I'm covered. I told you this. I told you this is easy going. Easy going, so. All right, we also said that this is going to be the last episode of the season.
Yes.
I don't know how many episodes we did. Season 5. See, we got season 5 figured out. It took us all season to figure out we were on season 5.
Last I had, we was up to about 10 episodes we was going to be. So
Let's just go with 10 plus.
yeah, 10
I'm the
plus.
last one.
Yeah.
You're the last one. You are the. We've had a good season, man. We've had a lot of big guests on this year. Covered a lot of ground.
A lot of good
And,
response and views on them.
Yeah, and well, we may have picked us up a sponsor we didn't want, so we'll see
Yep.
how that goes too.
No, we do seasons because dirt work gets busy, farming gets busy, and we lay out and try to fire up in October, November again. So.
Yeah, we try to knock out about 10 to 15 a year, and then once about the 1st of March comes around,
They'll break
it's
loose.
over and done.
Yep.
It's time to go. So,
So,
all right, enough about us, Farmer Chris. They don't care about us. They hear
Farmer
us yak.
Grace.
They hear us yak all the time.
sounds like she's been our neighbor the whole time. We just found her last year.
Yeah, so I guess the way the crow flies, we don't live but 20 miles apart.
Yeah, something like that.
But we should point out one obvious thing: we live in 2 totally different generations.
Yeah.
2 totally different generations. So we do have a lot of mutual friends and a lot of mutual acquaintances. And man, that's one thing people don't understand about the social media world is Logger Wade, which is my neighbor that I can literally see his house back here. He's also big on social media. Like, I am more likely to see him on YouTube than I am in person. Because we are so stinking busy. There's so many schedules, so much stuff going on. It's just hard for everybody to get together. It's insane. And we're just coming off Farm Show Week, which was a lot crazier for you than me.
Yep.
Yeah.
But, yeah, it's chaos. So, all right. There is a lot of podcasts out there with kind of your background and family history and how you got into the farm. We'll just kind of hit on it lightly. You're a multi-generational farmer.
Yep, 8th generation, over
8th
200
generation.
years. Yeah.
There you go, Farmer Chris. We
Yeah.
always give Farmer Chris a hard time because he's like 1.5 generations.
Yeah.
How does that work?
We ain't figured out if I'm first generation or second generation.
So we just say he's
call it
1.5
1.5.
generations.
No, I'd say I'm second generation farmer.
And we like to give his dad a hard time too, so he's about a half generation.
Yep, Dad was born and raised in Tell City and didn't step foot on a farm until he was 25, 26.
Oh, wow.
And then we took off from there. So
Gavin, what are your first generation?
First generation.
Yeah,
First generation.
yeah. So you and Chris have a lot in common.
it's hard to grow, man.
This may be for the other podcast that's
Yeah,
going to air
yeah,
first. This is
yeah.
going to be a good conversation about comparing first generation to 8th generations.
Definitely.
Because we have this conversation a lot about a multi-generational farm versus a
Of beginning farm.
beginning farm.
Yep.
So, anyways, all right. So, just hit the highlights. Graduated high school, a couple years at college.
Yeah, so I graduated in 2018, graduated high school, went to college because I was told that's what you're supposed to do. And after...
That's a whole nother podcast.
Been there.
Yeah, I know. After a year and a half, I really wanted to drop out, and then COVID hit. So I had an excuse to drop out and tell my parents that I was dropping out because of COVID. But really, I didn't intend on going back, and I never did. So I picked up a welding job in Owensboro, and I worked there 6 to 4, whatever the hours were.
Yeah.
And then I'd work on the farm in the afternoons, make my YouTube videos. I'd edit till about midnight, and I'd do it all over again the next day. And after, I think, a year and a half of doing that, my YouTube took off. I just kind of started for fun, and
Yeah.
it ended up taking off. I was able to quit my job, and I moved back to the farm.
Well, these days, Farmer Chris,
Yeah.
I'll quit my job.
Yeah. Well, we've had that discussion before, too. You know, it seems like a YouTube channel will take off quicker if you're doing it for fun
Yeah.
instead of doing it for money. You know, you're purposely trying to do it for money.
So, yeah, that's where I want to, like I said, and you can shout them out if you want to, but you've done several other podcasts kind of about the history of the farm and all that stuff and and what siblings are involved and what siblings aren't. I think, did I just see one on Acres TV or something maybe?
We did We did Root of It with Rob Sharkey.
Yep.
And then we also did Farm for Profit twice. Those are the big ones.
Done them twice, yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So if you guys want, and I'll try to link those down below. If you guys want to go, I don't want to cover the same thing they covered because that would be no fun. So if you guys want to check those out, you can. So I guess the road I want to go down a little bit. And Gavin, you can jump in here anytime you want to.
Okay.
If you got anything to say about this, don't feel like you got to sit out on this one. But the social media world is a very, very interesting world. So let's kind of go back to the beginning. At some point, so I showed up on a job site one day, and I told Farmer Chris, I'm going to start a YouTube video. And he literally laughed me off the job. Like, literally laughed me off the job. I mean, and made fun of me for weeks. For weeks. And I'm like, all right, rule one, don't tell nobody. So, so my inspiration was Wade, our neighbor. He'd been doing it for years. He'd been after me for years to do it. Didn't have time, didn't feel like doing it. And then one day I thought I had some free time. And I thought, what the hell, I'll give it a shot. So that was kind of the push I got to go into it. And thankfully did, because it's been awesome. But what was the driving force, or what was the inspiration for you to kind of get started?
When I was in college, I worked for a cattle farm and I worked for a flower farmer. And then, of course, I came home on the weekends and worked on my own farm. But I just really enjoyed sharing about those experiences because I didn't grow up with that. And I had a couple videos on Instagram blow up like crazy. And I went from, I think, 9,000 followers to 60,000 overnight.
Oh, wow.
It was insane. So I guess I was just kind of thrown into it. Not even on purpose.
Did you start off with high-dollar camera gear and ready to go?
No, no. I mean, I'll show you my phone. I started off with, I ran over my phone twice when I started, and it had metal spots in it from welding. That's what I used. I used it to edit, film, everything, and I did that for probably a year and a half.
They still like to make fun of me because my first camera mount is I took a GoPro thing and I put a 1/4 bolt through it and I put it right.
If it works, it works.
It worked.
Yeah, it worked.
Nobody ever complained about the mount, but everybody complained about me making them sick because I guess I turned my head off. So, but we got several podcasts on the channel just talking about everybody thinks they got to have the best of everything. And you don't. I mean, especially the iPhone cameras or Samsung cameras these days.
Yeah, they're really nice.
Absolutely incredible. So
That'll do 95% of it. If you want cool shots, GoPros add that extra touch, but you can do it without it.
The biggest reason I use a GoPro is one's because whenever I'm on the job, my phone won't quit ringing, and two is the hypersmooth part, the video stabilization.
Yeah, that helps a lot.
That helps a lot. But other than that, I'd still be filming with an iPhone. 90% of what you do, you can film with an iPhone. So Instagram was the first platform where you kind of gained some traction.
Yeah, I started there. I refused to get TikTok for a long time, and I regret it now because it only hurt me in the end. I thought it was going to be one of those apps that people forgot about in a year.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to waste my time on it. And Gavin's story is different. He jumped on that.
Yeah,
Right?
I jumped on that one ASAP, like right away. That's where I skyrocketed
You
on.
ain't scared of the Chinese taking all your information?
They've already got it anyways.
But I didn't think it was going to last long, and I knew that I would get addicted to it really fast, so I just refused to download it. But eventually I caved and got it because I realized it wasn't going away.
See, I held out on TikTok, and I still don't do much on TikTok because I think it's a kid's app.
Yeah.
That's probably your last platform you went to, wasn't it?
Yeah, I've got like 20,000 followers by accident, and that's about as far as I made it. I know I do watch a lot of TikTok, and there is some good stuff on TikTok. All these apps they've got good and bad.
They've got bad for sure, yeah.
So did you go from Instagram to TikTok?
I think I went to YouTube first.
Went to YouTube next.
I think so.
So whenever you got to YouTube, did you start making long format videos, or did you stick with short format?
Yeah, I made some longer videos, which was really difficult, especially in the wintertime, because it'd be dark when I went to work, and it'd be dark when I got off work. So there was times where I was posting videos every week and then not posting for months because I didn't have enough daylight. And
to record stuff,
GoPro's good at a lot of things. Darkness is not one of them. Not at all. It's darkness is a hot mess for sure. So at what point? you said you had a couple videos go, let's just call them viral on Instagram. So at what point did you think there might be something more to this than just a hobby?
I guess when I started getting DMs from companies asking to work together, and that they would pay me to do it. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
Maybe I should pursue this a little bit more because I see all these other people doing social media and they look like they're rich.
Yeah.
So, I mean,
Big misconception.
yeah. Very big misconception. But,
So
I don't know. I figured I had nothing to lose trying it.
Yeah. So this is where, well, first off, let me ask you this question because everybody's got their first. I remember my first very well. What was your first sponsorship deal? You don't remember? Wow. That poor company really left an impression on her, didn't it? Mine was a $142 speed binder.
Don't start out good for a while for you.
Well, until they sold the company
Yeah.
and screwed me, but yeah, it was great.
Yeah, I don't know.
Putting out a long format film or any film is, what's the biggest? You got editing down pat, I guess, or?
Kind of. That's my least favorite part.
Well, that's-
because
She's
I'm a
extremely good at it, though. Don't
Yeah,
let her
yeah.
undersell that.
That's because I'm a perfectionist. So it takes me forever.
That'll get you.
That's what he can fly through them. For a 40-minute video for me, it's like 6 hours of editing. I'm
Yeah.
like, man, this takes forever to do it. I
Yeah.
can film all day, every day, but oh, man, I'm over here editing.
You're for me, the time saved in editing is how you film. Like if that red light's flashing, it's gonna get used.
Yeah, that's
And like
true.
even whenever I got, like you've met Aaron that works with me, I get mad at him. I tell him no more than 2 minutes. If it's longer than a 2-minute clip, somebody's getting. I ain't got
Yeah.
time to look through that.
Yeah, that's fair. But also, I'm filming a lot of stuff just on my own,
Yep.
I guess. So it's like put it on a tripod and you have to forget about it, or I won't
Well,
film nothing.
That's what I was going to say. We use the magnetic. You know, you put on a piece of equipment and
Yeah.
you go run for 20 minutes shelling corn and you go get your camera and
Yeah.
do something with
Move
else.
it around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, also, if I'm not recording, that's when all the cool stuff happens. So
Yeah.
I just leave it on all the time.
Yeah, your video editing style, which was what makes us all unique, is quite a bit different than mine because you got some artistic stuff in your videos. Mine is just, I try to do mine in the manner we film in the come to work and hang out with this scenario, and it's more of a blog. And even though my videos get long-winded at 50 minutes, like I really try to keep them moving so you don't get bored and carry
Yeah.
on. And there's not a right way or wrong way to do it. That's what's awesome about social media. If you don't like the way I do it, go watch the next guy because you may
Right,
like the way
right.
he does it, which is awesome.
Do you pay much attention to like how long that clip is before you change a scene or?
So here's my rule of thumb, and it's served me well so far. If I'm editing and I'm bored, something's got to happen.
Someone else is bored too.
Somebody else is
Yeah.
bored
I've
too.
kinda used that,
And
yeah.
I may have I don't know, my average video length's probably 50 minutes nowadays.
Yeah.
I bet you I don't have 3 or 4 clips over a minute long in there.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's pretty
Gotcha.
well moving on. And then my style a little bit come to is I don't know crap about aviation. If I'm on YouTube, I'm going to watch something. I'm not going to watch farming. I'm not going to watch dirt moving because it's what I do all
Yeah.
day. But I'm going to learn something about aviation. And some of these aviation guys were talking way over my head. And it may have been the simplest aviation term you ever heard in your life, but it didn't make sense to me. So I find myself on the job. These guys make fun of me sometimes. Like I'm explaining the most basic thing ever.
Sure.
Knowing somebody's watching that, and if they don't know what grade means, like that's the elevation, or explain slope or compaction or just the basics. And I think that served me well over the years because a lot of people compliment. I think they can follow along in the video because I take the time to explain the terminology. So we try to just dumb it down and make it fun. We don't try to make it educational. We don't try to make it anything more than what it is. And I know I'm never going to be able to edit to her quality. I know I'm never going to be able to edit to some of these other guys' quality, and I'm not even going to try. Like,
But you found your niche and it works really well for you.
yeah. And if I start doing more than what I'm doing now, people get mad at me. So it is what it is. I'm happy. I've trained my audience. That's what I'm going to go with. But that's the beauty of YouTube and social media.
Yeah.
Some people have to tell you they don't like you before they leave, which is fine. But But yeah, if you don't like me, go watch them. I don't care. To each of their own. So
how long? So you've been recording YouTube for what, 6 years now, then, right?
Let's see. For YouTube, maybe 5 or 6.
5 or 6. How many subs you up to now?
240 something.
Made some ground then, ain't she? She's knocking on your back door.
yeah, I've been 6 years exactly, and I'm at 240. So
Knock, knock, knock.
yeah. I'll wave at you as you go by.
Yeah.
Happily. You know, the subs is not the number that matters, is
Right.
what it's hard to explain to a lot of people, because as we were talking about Dirt, I ain't gonna say the rest of it. You know, he's got 1 million subscribers, but he gets 3,500 views a video.
Yeah, that's,
Embarrassing.
yeah.
So it's the view duration. We're getting way off subject here, Chris.
Yeah.
Why'd you get us down?
Oh, I
this
don't know. Sorry. Guess that's what I'm good for.
Yeah, I told you there's no rhyme or reason to these podcasts. It's view duration and view duration. Well, views and view duration is what really kind of gets you going in the
Yeah.
YouTube world. So now, Gavin, do you do YouTube at all?
No, I can't stand the editing, but
Yeah.
that's because I've watched Grayce be so good at all this little stuff that makes her videos amazing. So maybe I'd like it if I treated it more how it
Yeah,
sounds like you
yeah,
treat it.
yeah.
I need to ask you some more tips after the camera goes off on what I need to do.
Yeah, because I wouldn't. I mean, I commend you. You do an awesome
Thank
job.
you.
I've seen several of your videos, but I couldn't. There ain't no way in hell. I'd quit. You think I got gray hair now? I'd be twice that.
And she's not just doing her YouTube channel. You know, when we do that show on Acres, she mostly filmed and 100% edited that first season.
Oh,
and
wow.
now the second season, we've offloaded the editing, but she still mostly films it because she knows the right shots to get. Right. So she's juggling almost 2 different pages of the same kind of content. So it's thinking out what you want to get of what.
Yeah, that's a whole different level.
No,
there,
that's
too.
was it Dirt Poor on Acres TV?
Yep.
How long you been doing that now then?
Farmer Chris, you are jumping ahead.
Oh,
here.
sorry.
We got to back it up?
Just getting us out of our timeline here. We're going to get there eventually.
Where should we go next then?
Oh yeah, I'm in charge. Let me
Yeah,
get on
you're in
that.
charge.
So I want to go down the road a little bit farther and just kind of see. You hit on one thing, and I think this is where you and I are way different. So it'd be kind of cool to compare notes here a little bit. And that's in the sponsorship world. So you've been very, very fortunate, had lots of opportunities with small companies, big companies, the whole 9 yards. So I guess, first off, I guess where we differ maybe a little bit, and correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't jump on a lot of opportunities. Like, I say no to probably 95% of stuff that comes to me. And I don't know if we need an explanation on that, but I'm going to use Hyperlights for example. No, I'm not picking on Hyperlights, but just for an example. They wanted to give me $2,500 worth of lights to put in my barn. And I'm saying this as an educational thing. $2,500 worth of lights to put in my barn for a 3-minute video clip. That cost me money to do.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's hard to explain, and I don't want to hurt anybody's feelings, but it cost me money to do. So, and then you get all these ad reads for all this other different stuff, and I know they pay good and stuff, but I'm like, I don't want to mess with it. Like,
I don't blame you.
I'm just hands off. When it comes to bigger companies, if there's a contract involved, I'm going. Yeah,
we talked about that a little bit in Tell City.
Yeah. Keep talking. I'm going to check one thing real quick. Yeah, it's not worth the aggravation of what it takes to do it. It's so this is, and I'm curious to your take on this. So everybody that gets into YouTube, and you kind of alluded to it, that first company reaches out to you, and you're like, oh yeah, we're going places now. And I don't know if you figured this out, but as you get bigger, a lot of those companies stop reaching out because I think they know you've realized how the game is played and they were trying to take advantage of you in the beginning. Would you say that's fair?
Oh, yeah. That happens a lot.
Yeah.
And it drives me crazy because, which obviously I'm not talking bad about anybody. I was at that point one time too where I would do it just because I wanted the experience, and that screwed the people that were bigger than me because these companies knew they could screw over the little guy.
Right.
Yeah.
And the bigger guys, I guess, wouldn't get anything either.
Yeah.
So there's still some good companies out there that I do like to work with, and I've worked with some of them for a really long time, but there's definitely still ones out there that will try and lowball you.
Yeah, so what makes it difficult for us, and it may be the only realm of video advertising where this applies, there is no blanket of, like, if you want to go buy a TV commercial, it's X amount of dollars. If you want to go buy a billboard, it's X amount of dollars. I got probably 3 or 4 big sponsors now I deal with.
Yeah.
Every one of them is a completely different relationship. Like, it is just totally different. Like, there is nothing in there. And at some point, and this conversation is geared to somebody that's up and coming, I guess is where I should have said with this. But at some point, you realize the company is going to sell their value to you. In reality, you have just about as much equal value to them. So it has to be on level playing field. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would.
It's I don't know. It's hard to. I won't say it's hard to explain, but it's you end up being your own agent. You end up being your own negotiator. You end up being your own everything. And all these big companies got a whole lot more experience than what we do. So you really got to you really got to protect yourself.
Well, what I've been doing the last, I think, 1.5 or 2 years now, I actually have hired an agency
Really?
that does all of that for me because I knew that I was getting screwed.
Yeah.
So I just let them handle it because they do it for all kinds of people. They do it all day, every day. So they're a lot better at it than I am. And they know how to do it in a way that is nice to the company still.
Just polite. Yeah.
That's probably where I fall short.
I'm not very good at that.
I'm not going to pretend like I don't.
So if somebody reaches out to him, you just head them to that agent to talk for you then?
Yeah, which most of the time people will reach out to them directly.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, because I have their email on everything.
Okay.
And then that saves Grayce a lot of time because then she just reviews a deal and says, yeah, that looks good to me, or no, I don't want to do it. And there's no going back and forth on her end.
Yeah.
And then I guess the agency gets X percentage of the cut of the
Yeah,
deal.
they get a cut.
So then it's good for the agency because they want to present her good deals that she would want to take.
Yeah.
So what is your ideal sponsorship scenario look like? Not dollars and cents, just like
Just like content.
yeah.
based
Would you
kinda?
like it to be content based, ad read based?
Definitely more like a product placement kind of thing. So like with Rotella, I don't know if I can say this. I think I can. But with Rotella, it's more of like just show you using it.
Yeah.
You don't have to say all of these things. Like just show that you use it, and that's it.
Those are the nice ones there.
Those are the best ones, and those are my absolute best performing ads ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
So you led me right into where I was going to go next. Is I'll go back to my speed binders because I don't care to call them out anymore because there was a family-owned business, and we did some stuff with them. Had huge success. He sold the company, so the company that he sold to approached me, and they wanted to continue to do these ads. And I didn't do ads. It was very simple. If I used the binder in a video, I called it by name. That's all it was supposed to happen. Well, then they tried to tell me I had to have 3 trucking videos a month. They had to have this, that, and the other. And I'm like, no, guys, if this is not an organic placement, like if I go out and purposely do a trucking video that day, everybody knows I made this up.
Yeah, that's what they don't realize. These people know that.
They are
they're
not
deep
that
into
stupid.
it. Yeah.
Now, if I need to go trucking that day and I happen to use your things, you can't give me a $142 binder and then determine how many videos I'll make based off that. It's not how it works. I will go buy the binder for $142 and everybody's going to be better off. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
So that would be like an ad place or a product placement. I agree 100%. And it has to be a product that you would organically use anyways. Like,
Yeah.
For an example, a tractor. If somebody gave you a tractor, you're going to use a tractor that day, whether it's yours or somebody else's. If you
Yeah.
got the option to use somebody else's, that's going to be the one you use that day, right? And it's nice working with companies that understand that.
Yeah, it makes it a lot easier for me too, because there's not that pressure of, I need to figure out how to make this look natural.
Yeah.
Because they're paying me X amount of dollars, and I will use it, just not right now. But
Yeah.
they need the video now, so I got to figure out how I'm going to use it right now in a way that makes
Yeah.
sense.
And let's face the facts, there ain't nobody sitting here just able as an actor.
Nope.
No.
I had a company get a hold of me one time, want me to be a big old long ad read. I'm like, why are you paying me? Just go hire an actor, because that's
Yeah.
all you need.
Yeah.
That's what
Yeah.
you want, yeah.
That's what you want, you know.
Because
what I
they
mean?
can get the organicness from you because you're in it.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the whole point.
Yeah, there's been times that I've had to tell companies, like, I know this is what you want, but I can't do that right now.
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense.
Kudos to you.
And 10 out of 10 times they're like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah,
Yeah.
we don't want it to come across as unnatural.
Yeah.
So whatever you think, just let us know what you think, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. No, if any companies are out there listening, we actually got I guess, can I call Bill my agent? I don't pay him, but he's my agent.
Yep.
So, I really don't. I got a whole podcast on here with Bill, and he owns a huge marketing firm that works with all kinds of different things, and we just had this exact same conversation about and there's also something to be said about the value of the view, because you can take Joe Blow down the street and they can go out and get you 10 million views. But if they're not people that are interested in buying your product, somebody that actually gets you 10,000 views is more valuable.
Way more valuable.
Right.
Yes.
So there's a value of the view fraction that you have to add into that whole mix somewhere. I run into this with one sponsor. They have an influencer from overseas that comes over. She goes on Facebook and just buys 500,000 views. I'll post a video on Facebook and get 100,000 organic views. All of her comments are about body parts and inappropriate things.
Yeah.
And all of my comments are about questions about the equipment.
Yeah.
Sure.
I'm like, so yeah, I see that you got a whole lot more views than me, but that don't mean that we didn't accomplish what we were out
Yeah.
to accomplish.
Yeah.
And I think as time goes on, people are going to get a whole lot more educated about that and see how it goes. So, your favorite sponsor, since you don't remember your first sponsor. I'm trying to get you sponsor plugs here, and you're just like giving me nothing.
My favorite sponsor? Oh man, I have to.
You have to. All right.
Actually, let me think about it. We'll just stay at 2. Mac, did y'all put this here on purpose?
I was going to call out Mike.
I'm a lot of things, but an idiot ain't one of them.
Mac and Rotella. They've been a really good sponsor.
That is something you use on a daily.
Pretty much daily
yeah,
basis.
daily basis or whatever.
Especially when you drive a Cummins, it leaks all day, every day.
Oh, Farmer Grayce.
Hey, easy on me now.
Farmer Grayce.
Easy on me now.
This is
Both of mine
Have you
sit-
watched the podcast before? Because this is the subject.
Both of mine sitting in the shop right now. But
Hey, I'm not even going to go there. I'm going to let it slide because she just got the biggest dig ever on me and she don't
Yeah.
even know it.
It wasn't even supposed to be. That was a dig at myself.
oh yeah.
I give him a hard time all the time. He's always, Cummins. I'm like, yeah, you got to walk around with a diaper picking up all the oil behind him.
You better be careful. You're getting a few more as you
Hey,
progress
mine's,
along.
mine's going.
Yeah.
I haven't told you that yet. I think mine's going.
Yeah.
You could tell everywhere Grayce parks in my driveway. Because it leaves a little,
Is she still going?
"I was here" sign.
So no, man, sponsors. I don't want to Debbie down sponsors because I got some awesome ones too, and they can be a lot of fun. You get the right relationship and the right people, they can be very powerful and a whole lot of fun. And it just always intrigues me how different influencers approach sponsors because honestly, I don't know if there's any two of us out there the same.
Yeah.
About how, and there's not what you do and what I do and what somebody else does. There's not a right way or a wrong way, and you can have different relationships with different sponsors. I know you got some sponsors as well.
Yep.
And you can chime in here with anything you want, but I just want to give a little background, but kind of behind the thought process of how, because I think we're a little bit similar in the same thought process is I don't really YouTube for my job because I still have an actual job to do. So I can't, there's only a allotted amount of time in a day I can give to it. And you still farm for a job. So it's not like you're just out there filming all day with a film crew trying to make something happen.
Yeah, there's a lot more that I do with my day than filming, which is, I don't know, it's weird that I'll make a video and then I'll go back and watch it. I'm like, I did so many more things that day that I didn't even video. And these people will comment like, you didn't even do that much. I can't believe that's a full day for you. I'm like, it's not.
It's not.
Yeah. All right, well, you let me into my next question. The lovely commenters. So it always intrigues me. So I love comments, and I love the nasty ones the best. And my favorite thing I ever do is screwing with commenters. I love it, absolutely love it. So we do stupid stuff like put comment generators in videos just to screw people up. And like my favorite comment to leave is somebody will comment something nasty about this, that, and there. I'm like, oh, sorry you missed it. It was in the video.
They go back and watch
I say, once you try to watch it again, they'll comment.
Watch it again.
They'll comment. I still didn't see it. No, sorry, plan worked.
Thanks for the other view.
Yeah.
There have been a few, I'm not going to lie, there have been a few that have hit me and really pissed me off. But out of the millions of comments I got, there's probably 5.
Yeah.
So obviously to do this, you got to have somewhat of thick skin, right?
Yep.
So how do you deal with the comments and the nonsense and the like? Do you enjoy the comments? Do the negative comments get to you? Like
Sometimes. I mean, especially when I first started, they got to me a lot because I don't know, I never really got negative comments growing up.
Yeah.
I guess you could say.
That's a big difference between us.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't really get that. I mean, people made fun of me at school, but I didn't really care about any of them because I knew I was going different places than they were. But you get online, you see people in the same industry as you talking crap about you. It's like...
supposed to be your peer.
Yeah. So, I mean, sometimes that'll get to me, but, I mean, now it doesn't really. A lot of them are funny to me. And even if there is one that bothers me, usually what I'll do is type out a response and then delete it and then I'll forget about it.
That's not a horrible idea. That's pretty smart.
If you feed that flame, then they continue interacting.
Yeah,
if you just ignore them, they yell into this echo chamber and then eventually disappear.
And that's where my like completely off the wall response comes from. Is like, I want to acknowledge you, but I'm going to put it back into your head.
He used to put some of those comments, pin them to the top, so everybody read them first. And then they would just eat them up.
Man, I got too many subscribers from that. I got out of hand. I got way out of hand.
You know, like one of my last videos, I didn't wear a seatbelt, I didn't stop at a stop sign, and I didn't do a pre-trip inspection.
Man, I never do any of that.
I walked around the trailer. I just didn't carry the camera around as I went.
That's the thing. They don't realize.
Both are farmers and you get away with murder when it comes to trucking. I don't want to hear any of this.
Grayce's pre-trip is looking underneath the truck, and if there's oil dripping, it means there must still be some in there. You're good to go another day.
But, you said, this is what I've always said, and you commented earlier, you post a 15, 20-minute video of what you did for over 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like, how can you have an opinion about me or what I actually did that day whenever all I'm showing you is just a little bitty sliver of the entire day?
You forgot to do this.
Yeah.
No, I did it. I just didn't video it.
Something I've realized with time, those negative comments, even if you would have done it the complete opposite way, there's so many people out there, someone else would hate the way you would have done it differently. So you're not going to escape the negative because there's just so many opinions that exist.
Yeah, there was Mike Morgan one time outdoor with the Morgans he posted. He's like, what do I do? They had one comment, I can't stand your music. The very next comment, this is the best music ever.
Right.
Yeah, we've been there.
Yep, that's the way she works right there.
Probably the one comment I see on Grayce a lot of trucking videos is the double clutching.
I knew you were going to bring that up. Yep.
Trucks have clutches?
Yeah.
At this point, I'd do it for comments.
Yeah.
No,
Smart.
I'm just playing.
Smart. Well, you still drive an old twin stick. The one is, isn't it? No?
No.
What? All right, we're going to get off subject here. What transmission?
The one that I drive and the red one, I don't know if yours is the same. They have the Fuller.
Fuller?
Yeah,
9-speed.
9-speed?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. But
that what yours has?
that's what fueled Grayce's expansion, especially on Twitter. She posted a video that went viral on TikTok. She just copied the same video over to Twitter and went from a couple hundred or maybe a few thousand followers to 60,000 in a few days.
Really?
Yeah.
It was the craziest growth on Twitter ever. But it was right whenever Elon bought it, and so I don't know what they did to the algorithm, but all of a sudden it was shoving like conservative stuff, and Grayce is a country girl driving a semi
You
truck.
don't ask questions.
It just went crazy.
Sometimes you just don't ask questions. Well, if you want a real joy, if you're a true Mac girl, you can go drive a Mac transmission because they.
Oh, hey, that blue one has one, I think.
The the one we're finishing restoring for the
6-speed?
Mac Museum.
Oh, it's got the old 6-speed in it. Yeah, those are a lot of fun.
Yeah, so fun.
I've been around those.
Just got a straight 6-speed and that's it?
There's one of those down there at the auctions in Florida.
Really?
It took me back to my yard.
Well, when I worked for Flash Trucking here,
Yeah.
I don't know what year Mac it was 6-speed. That's all it was. And it could win the Daytona 500 in reverse. Man, that thing will haul ass in reverse now. Yeah. I got in that semi. I don't know if I've ever been in a semi. I only had a 6-speed, and that's it.
Yeah, that was my first experience in one. Was the blue one that I have.
They're flatland trucks.
Yeah.
We've done one of them around the hills a whole lot.
Yeah.
They will eat you up for sure. All right, we got way off subject. I don't know where we were at, Farmer Chris. Comments. So we're still talking about comments.
Oh, yeah.
But
some good ones.
yeah, so I'm glad to hear you say that the comments are pretty much entertainment to you as well.
Oh, yeah.
Now we should also say for every 10,000 comments we get, there's only 2 or 3 of them that are bad. And
Negative.
all the other ones are absolutely phenomenal.
Yeah, unless it's a trucking video. Those get a lot of negative comments.
Yes, they do.
Yeah, you ought to have your best friend is your DOT officer. And so you're talking about editing. I'll tell you a fun one. So my best friend is a DOT officer. And he commented one day, he's like, man, you're getting so much better at your load securement and this, that, and the other. I said, no, Officer Hoover, I'm just getting a lot better at editing.
Yeah. Oh, man.
He goes, I knew it.
Some of his current videos, you see he'll video loading, no moving, no chain down, then his next clip is unloading on the new job site.
Yep.
And then, he wants to see my overweight permit. I'm like, Farmer Chris don't require those in the field. I don't know what you're talking about, bud. What was he trying to bust me on one day? I don't even know. I was in a parking lot. So, getting way off subject here, but in the state of Indiana, tiling equipment don't have to have a permit. You can be overweight and be legal. So I got that 850 dozer I built a tile plow for. So I told Hoover, I said, all I got to do is whenever I move this is just put a tile plow on legal. He said, no, that's not a purpose-built machine. So I had stickers made that say, I identify as a tile plow.
You just need a piece of paper that says, I'm allowed to do this. When they ask for your permit, you just hand it to them.
That's what I'm going to do. I get Hoover. I'm going to say, I'm allowed to do this. And it's going to be signed Farmer Grayce.
Yep.
Exactly.
Endorsed by.
Endorsed by.
Somebody's been buying some property that is tillable, and he's trying to get farm plates on his semi now. So.
Yeah, the problem is I still can't. Well, that's a whole nother. I can't get all my secrets out because Officer Hoover will listen to this and he'll know all my secrets. It's not any fun. So, all right. So, comments. Let's go to a different way, and I'm trying to find the proper way to ask this. I know it's going to be a good question when it comes out like that. So, we've been doing social media about the same time, and similar filings. I'm a 40-year-old gray-headed geezer, and we deal with a lot of cuckoos. Mm-hmm. So being an attractive young lady doing this, I can only imagine.
Oh, there's a lot.
So is that more disturbing than the comments, or how do you deal with that? Because at some point, like I've had to call the sheriff to get people out of my driveway before, and that's when it gets scary and real.
Tell them about the sheriff's calling you.
Yeah, so there's 2 stories where this happened. First time we were on vacation and sheriff deputy messaged me on Facebook and said, give me a call when you get a chance. So I called him and somebody's wife called and said that I had been stealing money from her husband or scamming him out of money. And they were like, I think that was probably a scam, like an actual scam.
Yeah.
And, well, actually, I guess she called my dad first, huh?
Yeah, she found your dad's number online.
Called my dad first and was like, your daughter's been taking money from my husband. And he was like, you're crazy.
Old couple, too. Like, they were not they were an old couple.
Yeah, and he was like, you got the wrong person. That was not her.
Yeah.
Then she called the sheriff. The sheriff messaged me. And he was like, yeah, I just wanted to confirm that you weren't actually doing that. And I was like, I mean, no. Sure wasn't
But it was some spam page of her that this old husband was talking to, and then ended up sending piles of money to, thinking it was Grayce.
Yeah, I mean, I'd be upset if I was the wife, too.
Somebody copied your identity or whatever, made a different channel. Yeah.
I mean, just how many? I mean, I know there's a fake TikTok account of me that's got more followers than my actual TikTok account. I mean, it's to be transparent. There's probably dozens of fake accounts out there.
Oh, yeah. It's ridiculous.
And
There's a
TikTok's
lot.
the worst.
One of the fake, my tagline on TikTok is "What's poppin' TikTok."
Yep.
I say that in every TikTok. Some Facebook page has been taking that back 2 years ago when I had short hair, and so old videos, posting them directly to Facebook, and it says "What's poppin' TikTok," and then I start talking, and it has 3 times the Facebook followers my own Facebook page has.
And then you try to report it with less followers.
Yes.
They think you're the scammer.
Yes.
Yeah. It's like, what the heck? I posted a video the other day. You sent it to me of me backing that truck into a septic tank.
The video posted one day, and like 2 hours later, it's already on TikTok. Somebody's already
6 million views, and it's not even me, but it's on somebody else's page. I'm like, well, hopefully they find
ridiculous.
YouTube, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. But no, that is the, I guess, less glamorous side of what's going on. I know, and I hate to, we appreciate all of our fans for sure.
Yeah.
But there is a line that gets crossed sometimes that makes stuff very uncomfortable.
You know, with your channel, you never record between the Derby Market and here.
And that is an address that's not here.
When you're working with a farming operation, that job site is our home.
Yeah.
I mean, it's hard to make that break in there too.
I'm a lot harder to find.
Yeah.
I like it that way.
Yeah.
On purpose.
Millennial farmer Zach Johnson up in Minnesota, he has a sign in his front yard that says like, this is a private property, you are not allowed here, because families used to pull in and just unload their kids and then go knock on the door, be like, hey, do your kids want to play with our kids? He's like, no, I don't know you. I have no clue who you are. I really appreciate you following me and supporting me, but this is way out of line.
Yeah.
Well, that's not right, but in their to their, I don't want to say excuse, but they watch us every day. They do feel like they know us.
They know, yeah.
Yes.
But they forget that camera don't go the other way.
Yes.
Yeah.
And sometimes I don't always register or get through. And like I said, I deal with enough of it, and I'm glad that I don't envy you in your position, because I can only imagine.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, hell, this is your episode. I don't want to take it. I was going to say, at
We've
farm,
already recorded yours.
at farm shows, like, there will be people that come up and mention something that we mentioned one time in one video 6 months ago. Like, I really got to scratch my head and remember what I was talking about that day. You know?
Aaron, the guy that works with me every day, he's in pretty much every one of my videos anymore. He don't watch any of the videos. So those people come out and approach him, he don't have a clue what they're talking about. Not a clue.
A few weeks ago, this is the one that happened very recently that I think Gavin was trying to get me to tell a story about. Someone called Lewisport City Hall and said, I'm looking for my girlfriend. She got hit by a drunk driver last night, and I need to know what hospital room she's in. And she was like, who is your girlfriend? He said, Gayla Emick. And she was like, I don't know who that is. And he said, she's a 23-year-old 8th-generation farmer. Everybody in that town should know who she is. And she was like, I think I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
Because this is crazy. And he started yelling at her, saying, I'm going to find where she's at. And tried to call the police department, but she wouldn't give him the number for that. And it's just crazy. I think the guy's from maybe Denver or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
But probably got scammed by some fake page. It's not even using her real name. They're using Gayla Emick, but all her videos, and this dude's convinced they're dating and probably sending this spam page money, and now thinks that she's in a hospital that got hit by a drunk driver.
Yeah, and she's probably, or he, whoever the scammer is probably saying like, I need help with hospital bills. Can you send me money?
So do you get the same treatment a little bit? Isn't it kind of cool, like in your home little town, like you're just Grayce?
Yeah.
And then you travel out a little bit, and you're like, then you're Farmer Grayce.
Yeah, Gavin says this all the time. Like, we go home and we're normal people.
Yeah.
We'll get like 3 or 4 days at a show, like, get to feel cool and then
I
go
hope
home.
that never changes.
Yeah.
'Cause,
Yeah.
not to get way off the subject here, but I just went to go get my CDL physical the other day, and the local doctor down here, I'm just the guy down the road who owns the excavating company.
Yeah.
I'm just the dumb idiot down the road who pushes dirt. And a 16-year-old son come in and see me, and you could just tell his eyes lit up, and he got white in the face, and he destroyed, took off, and I was getting ready to leave, and he come back in, and he asked his mom, which is the nurse, he's like, I'd really like to get a picture with him. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. His parents had no idea what was going on. No.
Yeah, 2 years ago we done a meet and greet at the Perry County Fairgrounds here in the county, and him and Officer Hoover and CNC Equipment, and I mean, Tennessee Fairgrounds ain't very big, and we've never had a very big fair. We've got people come from like 8 states for a meet and greet. They're all just swarming him, and all my board of directors are like peeking around the building, like, why do they think he's so famous? He's just Mike.
They're all like they were dumbfounded. They come to see me.
They come from South Dakota to see him? Yeah, he's a big deal when you get off Perry County.
I do not envy professional athletes or like really famous actors one bit. But it's so nice being just normal at home.
Yep.
But it is kind of fun to play famous for a couple days at these farm shows because there's people that are so excited to meet. It's very humbling.
Yeah.
It really is, because you realize like they're that excited to see you for just doing what you do on the internet. I love that, and all of those interactions have been so positive. Like the amount of young girls that come up to Grayce at a farm show because they want to grow up to be a farmer, and they didn't even realize girls could be farmers because they're all just boys.
Yep.
But they watch her videos and they believe they can now.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
I was talking to Mike yesterday about it. That's what little I was at the farm show. Do you have the ones that is afraid to come up to you, but they just kind of beat around the bush, and you can pick them out like that? Just like,
Yeah. And every once in a while, I'll hear like somebody far away be like, "That's Farmer Grayce."
yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to turn around and be like, "Hey, that's me." But I was walking with my sister around the show, and she said it's really cool when people come up to you, but it's really funny when people don't come up to you.
I was at a booth talking to one of the guys there, and this guy, he just kept going around the booth, picking up flyers, and kept looking. I'm like, just come say hi.
Yeah, you do this long enough too. I told Chris, I said, you get to walking around, you see that look, like they're trying to look, but they're not. I said, you pick them out pretty quick, and he called me the other day, he's like, yeah, I seen the look. But no, it is pretty cool. I'm just so thankful. I always said when I first started YouTube, I wish I could put a 50-mile radius around my hometown where nobody could watch. You know what I mean? Because I don't want things here to change. And other than people showing up at the market on a regular basis, it's all the locals don't give two craps about me, which is awesome. I hope it don't change, and I'm glad you got the same experience.
That might be a YouTube thing because I don't really have people hunt me. I live right on the highway. I mean, you can find me very easily, but I don't have people stopping in or anything. But I also don't do YouTube. So do you think that's a YouTube thing?
That's a great question. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, with what's Growing Corn 2020, he's mostly TikTok. He's talked about being chased down a little bit, but I don't know. And I'm going to pull a number out of my ass here. But I'm going to say something, and I'm curious your opinion on this, especially being a TikTok guy. I feel like 100,000 subs on YouTube is equivalent to like 10,000 people on TikTok. Because on YouTube, they come back time and time and time again, and they religiously watch everything you post. So they build a relationship with you. Where on TikTok, they see you for a split second, and then you're gone. Then they may not see the next 10 posts.
Yes.
Then they see you for a split second again. So they know who you are, but they don't know you.
So that YouTube, you're saying that YouTube followers worth 10x what, or worth the equivalent of 10 TikTok followers.
Yeah, so if
I would say it might even be more. It could be 20 or 30.
So basically, it's easy to get a TikTok follower, but to keep a YouTube viewer is more.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm explaining that right.
No, I follow you 100%, and I would even say that it's more than that. That 100,000 on YouTube is probably worth more than 1 million on TikTok.
Yeah, so that's not to discredit any TikTok followers, but that's maybe where some of the more people hunting you down comes from a little bit. To answer your question,
They're probably more invested in you because they spend that much more time watching you.
That's a better way to put it.
If they watch you for 50 minutes and me for 30 seconds, they're going to fall more in love with you than they are me.
Yeah, and that's the hardest thing about YouTube is I don't know what your view duration is. My view duration is like 45 minutes. So if you
really good.
so if you can keep somebody interested in what you're doing for that long, that's more than most hour-long TV shows. You know, you're keeping them entertained. So there's a lot more time to build that relationship versus the 30-second TikTok thing. So I think that's where that comes from. I don't know. I could be way off base on this.
I just thought about it when you guys mentioned it.
Yeah, no, that's a great question. I'm a lot of things, but an expert anyway. I can promise you that. So, no, it's really cool. And I just want to say this. I don't want to discredit any of our fans because we appreciate each and every one of them. And the only reason we keep doing what we're doing is because they are engaged with what we do. But there is a code of conduct that needs to come along with that. And just be respectful of everybody's time and everybody's privacy. Because if we're at a farm show or something, we're in public, we're putting ourselves in public. But if I'm on a job site, that's a whole different. That's a whole different thing. It's and then it just turns into safety, and it turns into a whole lot of other different things. You know, last thing we want's an accident or something.
Sorry, I'll just stalk you and pull up on your job sites randomly.
Well, you're a paying customer, so you're allowed. You're a paying customer. That's the question I get all the time is like, oh my God, are your customers paying for all your time filming? I'm like, Farmer Chris can vouch. Filming does not slow us down. We've got this down to an art. I'm sure you guys do too, to where we just keep clicking right along. So,
have you found the YouTube put like-minded people together? I mean, do you? I think I've made the comment before. It'll put people as you're watching it or people watching your channel is.
It kind of.
And we intertwine with like-minded people.
Yeah, so a lot of people with the same interest.
Same interest.
Yeah. That's one thing YouTube does really good. So, all right, let's transition to where Farmer Chris was going a little bit earlier. So you guys also got another adventure together.
Yes, we do.
And I don't know a whole lot about it, so you guys are going to have to educate me a little bit. But
have at it.
All right. Our show, Dirt Poor, is on Acres TV. And Acres TV is like a streaming platform for only ag stuff. So the audience there is small, but it's people interested in it.
Right. Like, it's people in your industry or in your niche.
So we started a show on there probably 2 years ago. Actually, almost exactly 2 years ago is when we
ran into them.
Talked to them.
Yes.
Yep. We struck that deal up at the bar.
PBR bar. That's where we ran into him, was PBR bar.
Yeah, that's where all the good stuff happens. Not that I would know.
We started doing that, and we film it ourselves. We edited the first season ourselves, and finally we've hired that out because it was driving me absolutely crazy. But we're trying to get a production company to do the filming, so I don't have to worry about that either.
And the cool thing about Acres, since it's only ag, it's like a mixture. If YouTube and Netflix meshed, that's what it is. And so they've got all of these ag companies that show off videos of their new products. They've got lots of ag companies that give agronomic advice strictly for farming. And then they've got entertainment, which kind of helps draw people in to see everything else. So like Grayce and I have our show, Tony Reed's got a show. There's a few other influencer type people that have shows, and that helps draw the crowd in to see all the other content that's getting posted. And it takes nothing. I mean, it's an email. It's like YouTube. You need an email address, and then you've got an account.
The compressor on.
I'd say I just pulled up the Acre app about 2 weeks ago just to get on there and see what was going on. I'd heard of it through you guys, but never actually watched nothing yet.
So what, as far as people that approach you just out of curiosity, like how many of them know you from the show and how many of them know them from your social media? Is it 50-50 or?
I'd say it's a mix of everything. But a lot of people are, since Acres is a young streaming service, a lot of people have found Acres through other platforms.
Gotcha.
So they're not finding us through Acres, they're finding Acres through us and others as we try to help build Acres up into a ag streaming service.
That's pretty cool. I've had several opportunities to dabble in the TV world. And I don't know, would you guys even consider that like true TV world? Like
Acres?
It's kind of a hybrid.
Yeah, it's a hybrid of them. It is, yes. But I don't know that not discrediting TV, but as we keep moving forward, there might be more value in the streaming side of things than TV because nobody watches TV.
Yeah, so bingo. So through multiple different sponsors, I get kind of the backdoor access to some of these really popular shows that are on Discovery and History and stuff. And they'll straight up tell you that YouTube and streaming is their biggest competition because it is true reality TV.
Yeah.
So what I like about what you guys said is it sounds like you guys still got a lot of control over what gets posted.
100% of it.
Because some of these bigger shows that are true reality TV, they've already got a script wrote. And they just go out and film the clips to plug into them.
Yes.
And then you have no control over what is actually done or said. And I think that's what's really drove the popularity a lot in the social media and streaming world because it is true reality TV.
Yeah.
I mean, they can change the plot of anything. I mean, I guess we probably shouldn't name drop, but we were talking to a guy that was on a show like that, and he said at one point there was a breakdown that would take 5 minutes to fix in the field, and they turned it into half the episode like, oh, this is going to ruin the season. You know, that's not real life. It is entertaining, but it's not real life.
You know, I kind of think I seen that when Logger Wade was on Discovery Channel.
Oh, you just right him out there, Bart. I was trying to beat around the bush. He's going straight for the
I'm going straight forward. There's just a lot of drama involved in some of that, you know.
So I guess it gets views, but what are you going for? Are you going for reality and this is my day-to-day, or are you going for, hey, let's hook them with some silly plot?
Yeah, it's dramatic, just so dramatic. I'm just like, man, one of these days, whenever this show's off the air, we got a good podcast about what actually happened. But no, that's pretty cool. So I'm glad you guys are enjoying that, man. Hopefully this thing continues to grow because for the ag world, like we don't have nothing like that in the excavating world. So that's pretty damn cool. We got the National Equipment League we've been doing, and we're getting ready to start a Roku channel on that. And the thing for me, and you kind of alluded to this in the beginning, is there's a lot of skilled and talented people in my industry. And being able to showcase that or share that or get more people involved, girls, boys, I don't care who it is, we just need more people in the trades. To be able to showcase that and have a platform to show it on is a big deal. So, and Farmer Chris and I talk about this all the time. There is so much misinformation in the ag world. So any platform you can have to help get that true information out there is a big deal.
Yeah, the ag world's so much misconception on, well, it's the food. Everybody's curious about their food anymore, you know. So.
Which rightfully so, they should be.
I agree.
One thing I do hate about agriculture is the whole thank a farmer thing. Personally, I think that is so silly because nobody's like, oh, thank your construction worker, thank your excavator guy, thank your dentist. But for some reason, and I at the very beginning,
probably because of all of us make money and you guys lose money.
That could be. That could be. But whenever it first started, I was completely behind that. But I guess it just comes with age. As I've got older, I'm looking back thinking, that's really silly. Like, I don't need to be pat on the back for what I enjoy doing. Like, I'm going to do this whether it's being filmed or not. I just enjoy farming.
Yeah.
So.
No, I get it 100%. So, no, it's really cool, man. It's a wild, fun ride doing what we do. I wouldn't change it for the world. definitely appreciative of all the sponsors we do have, all the awesome viewers we do have, because it makes it a lot of fun for sure. If it wasn't for nobody watching, we wouldn't obviously do any of this. So we'll close this up. So what advice would you give a young person, male or female, that is looking to get into social media or farming?
Social media or farming?
Yeah, or both together.
Find someone in your area that has done something similar to what you want to do and pick their brain. Yeah. I recommend people to Gavin all the time if they want to start farming, because he literally did that. And he did it really good. Yeah, I mean, just doing it.
Yeah.
The hardest part is getting started.
Podcast that we haven't
Yeah, we covered.
Yeah.
Go back and listen to that one.
The one we haven't actually recorded yet.
Yeah, I guess my advice would be just do it. The hardest part is getting started. You can learn along the way. You can learn everything you need to know after you get started.
You're exactly right. The hardest part for a lot of people is just actually doing it, just actually taking the initiative to get started.
Yeah, I think starting on the farming, what's the percentage of us is 60-some years old at retirement age in the farming and don't have a generation to take over. So if you just look around, a lot of young farmers get hooked in with a older generation that's looking to retire, and they kind of help get a jump start on that. So
you have to be willing to work and invest.
That's the problem. That's why we can't find no help either.
And stay true to yourself and be honest. What is that quote? Like it takes a lifetime to build a reputation and 5 minutes to screw it up, and that rings even more true in farming because it's such a small, niche, tight-knit community.
Yeah, no, you're exactly right. And, my advice is never get in over your head. Like, don't get outside your skis. But to your point, I've been given a lot of advice over the years. And I'm like, that don't apply to me. No, I can help do that. And then I get a little older and I make those mistakes. And I'm like, damn it, why the hell did I listen? Like, life would have been a whole lot easier if I just would have listened to this guy. And you don't have to, take every piece of advice with a grain of salt. It may not purposely apply to you, but if somebody took the time to tell you that, it's probably because they learned it. So there is some value in what they had to say. So, well, guys, I greatly appreciate you taking the time to come over and chat.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. You're the one that traveled around the floodwaters to get here. This is the end of the season, even though we still have to record his episode, which will air before this episode. That's what I love about this channel, Farmer Chris. We don't have to be formal, is it? We don't have to be prim and proper. We can let it all hang out there. So, But all right, guys, that's a wrap on season 5. I was almost said 6, but I would have had that wrong again too. Season 5. We will be back. Probably first of the year. Is that right? Yeah. All right. We try earlier, but we got a late start. I'm going to go straight for the first of the year because we always say Thanksgiving and never make it. So. All right, guys. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you next year.